Hello everyone, and welcome to TopoDOT version 2026.1 release webinar. I'm Ryan Knack, a product developer here at TopoDOT Solutions. We have an exciting session lined up for you today. First, you'll see a comprehensive overview of the new version presented by Ted Knack, President of TopoDOT Solutions, and Mauricio Ternias, our Senior Director of Product Development. Following the presentation, we'll move into a live Q&A session hosted by our Training and Support Operations Development team. A few quick housekeeping items before we begin. Feel free to leave your questions at any time during the webinar using the chat or the QA tab here in the Teams interface. We'll be monitoring those throughout the session. Also, if you'd like to revisit any part of today's presentation, this recording will be made available to all attendees and will be posted for our entire user community through the TopoDOT University. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to Ted and Mauricio to introduce the new features. Enjoy the webinar.
Okay, well, hey Mounty, we're here for another TopoDOT release, and this one is 2026.1. The common thing to all of our releases is that the numbers just keep getting bigger, and we just keep getting older, but hey, that is the way it is. How are you feeling about this one? You feeling pretty good? You feeling pretty good? All right. Well, I got a chance to look at the new tools, and it's really a great reminder that TopoDOT is a comprehensive solution and that we focus on the whole production process. So the first two tools are all about cleaning up and optimizing the CAD model post-feature extraction. And that's just incredibly important because you're coordinating a lot of the results from a lot of team members into a single deliverable. So I thought those tools were really well done and really intuitive and really worked well. So I'm really excited to show those today. And then we're going to end it with a very cool new feature extraction tool that, quite honestly, I'll tell you what, just blew me away. I think you should have done it years ago, but whatever. Well, I know you've been busy. But we're just going to take a look at what's just over the horizon too. So we're going to give you a look into the future today at the end of our presentation here. And we're going to tell you something really exciting that's coming up, and it deals with a whole new direction that TopoDOT, now TopoDOT Solutions, has taken. So let's get going with TopoDOT release 2026.1. All right, well, these next two tools are really interesting. The first one is a 3D mesh assessment, and the second one is the enhancements to the dynamic DTM preview tool. I tell you what, when I see these two work together, these just really brought back memories because as we got into the business over 15 years ago, we quickly learned that how important a clean model is in supporting downstream operations. Deliverables had to be incredibly well-structured, clean. We say clean, but it's all the vertices had to snap together, no overlapping lines. It's a big deal. And I remember we spent hours and days just after we finished feature extraction, just checking for mistakes and anomalies in a CAD model. And sometimes it almost took as long as the original deliverable production, the feature extraction part of it. So, and of course, this becomes even more complicated when you're coordinating and tying together the output of several production team members working in parallel on the same project. So, Maddie, I tell you, congratulations. When you see these tools and how they work together and how they complement each other, you know that you're going to just raise production efficiency and model quality dramatically.
TopoDOT version 2026.1 builds on the dynamic DTM preview tool introduced last year, bringing powerful new capabilities focused on quality control and validation. Now, as you generate your terrain model in real time, you can also identify potential issues directly within the mesh, giving you greater confidence in your results from the very beginning. A new flagging system has been introduced to help detect common geometry issues, such as overlapping or conflicting line work. This allows you to quickly spot and address problems during extraction, rather than discovering them later in the workflow. In addition, the 3D Mesh Assessment tool has been redesigned and now works seamlessly with the dynamic DTM preview. The assessment tool can directly leverage the preview mesh, enabling you to evaluate surface quality, consistency, and accuracy without needing to rebuild or export your model. Together, these tools create a more integrated and efficient workflow where surface generation and quality control happen side by side. The result is faster validation, improved accuracy, and a smoother path from extraction to final deliverables. Dynamic, intelligent, and now even more connected, this is the next evolution of surface modeling and quality assurance in TopoDOT version 2026.1.
Let's look at the Dynamic DTM Preview tool first. In the past, hunting down overlapping line work was a tedious, manual process that could easily delay a project. Now, the tool automatically flags those problem areas right on your screen with an easily identifiable icon. It allows you to identify and resolve issues instantly, completely eliminating that old trial and error workflow. But we didn't stop there. We've also completely rewritten the 3D Mesh Assessment tool with some powerful new capabilities to complement your DTM workflow. Specifically, you can now run the 3D Mesh Assessment directly on the Dynamic DTM. There's no longer a need to waste time plotting or exporting the mesh element just to check your work. It's a massive time saver that allows you to quickly adjust your line work and instantly rerun the assessment to verify the results. Additionally, we've added classification support, so now you can quickly isolate and find specific point cloud regions that deviate from the mesh.
So now we just took a look at the quick adjust, create continuous, and quick delete tools. And again, another example of a focus on cleanup and optimization of the CAD model itself as a critical part of the production process. In the end, it's all about mouse clicks, man. When you watch these videos, I could see every application of the tool saves several, if not dozens of mouse clicks. Multiplied across a project is an enormous amount of time. And it's actually, having done it before too, back in the day, but it's tedious and tiring, when you have to just do it all day long. So, that we're saving our production teams and in the TopoDOT community that much time, it's just going to make quality better. It's going to make production faster. So it's really a great tool. Obviously, feature extraction is still the foundation of TopoDOT and its performance is unrivaled. But the bottom line is getting your deliverable out the door, and these tools contribute immensely to that productivity. So it's hard to say, but I guess that use of these tools effectively might cut production times by maybe at least 10%. It's just a swag from me, but I really think you'll see it. You'll see it on the other side, and 10% is a lot. So, I think when you take a look at this, you're going to really appreciate these tools.
Getting your line work ready for final delivery is usually the bottleneck of any project. You've extracted the data, but cleaning up the CAD geometry takes hours. In TopoDOT version 2026.1, we're introducing 3 new workflows specifically built to speed up your final QA/QC. First is Quick Adjust Line Work. Instead of fighting with menus, this lets you make fast, targeted edits to your active elements on the fly. You can instantly snap lines to nearby elements or join connected segments, giving you total control over the local geometry. Now, let's take it a step further with Create Continuous Element. While Quick Adjust focuses on individual edits, Create Continuous Element allows you to connect line work in bulk or on demand. Whether you're working across multiple segments or cleaning up larger areas, this tool helps you build continuous geometry quickly and efficiently. And finally, introducing Quick Delete Vertices, a brand new tool designed to clean up unwanted nodes with ease. As you move over your line work, the tool provides a live preview of selectable vertices along with a clear visualization of how your geometry will look after deletion. With a single click, you can remove unnecessary points while maintaining full control over the final result. Simple tools, powerful results. TopoDOT version 2026.1 makes line work finalization faster, smarter, and more intuitive than ever.
With this release, we really wanted to focus on the day-to-day tools that make your life easier and your workflows more efficient. Whether you're adjusting vertices, cleaning up line work, or merging connecting elements, you're going to see time-saving improvements across the board. Let's start with the new Quick Delete Vertices tool. In the past, cleaning up line work could mean a lot of guesswork or constantly toggling different tools just to find and delete specific vertices. Now, as you move your selection window, you'll dynamically see the location of all nearby vertices right on the screen. As those vertices enter your selection brush, they're immediately flagged in red. Even better, the tool gives you a live preview of how the line work will look before you actually delete anything. This completely removes the trial and error, ensuring that your deletions won't negatively impact the final placement of your line work. We applied that same modernization effort to our Quick Adjust tool. We kept the core functionality you rely on, but brought it to the next level. You now have the exact same dynamic preview capabilities, allowing you to instantly identify and interact with vertices inside the selection window. We've also added the ability to automatically merge snapped elements. Plus, you now have the option to insert new vertices directly at the element endpoints, rather than just moving existing ones. It's all about giving you more control, safely and with fewer clicks. Finally, let's talk about the Create Continuous Element tool. This is another modernization of an existing favorite, but we've packed it with new quality of life features to speed up your deliverables. For instance, you can now click anywhere on an element and the tool will automatically connect and merge in both directions. If you have a larger area to process, you can now execute multiple connections in batch simply by pre-selecting those elements before running the tool. We've also updated the growth algorithm to give you more flexibility. You can set it to stop automatically at junction points or have it calculate and determine the longest continuous path. Overall, these tools are a massive boost for your overall efficiency.
Okay, so the next one is, I tell you, has to be one of my favorite because feature extraction is always cool. And the building and point cloud cluster outline is, well, to be honest, it's really cool, and it's actually sexier than its title sounds, to be honest. I've been looking over your shoulder as you develop this one. I keep looking over, and once in a while when Mouty's developing a tool, I always kind of look in and try to pretend I'm smart. And I have to say, you hit it out of the park, though, really. Over the years, I can't recall how many times we were faced with extracting complex building shapes, roofs, and my favorite, the water edge boundary. That was just always, it was tedious, and it was basically required in a lot of projects. So you turn what was often, really tedious application of a few TopoDOT tools that you had to kind of combine and use into like a reliable single-click process. It's cool. My only question is, why'd you wait so long, really? I know you're busy, but this tool's like a home run. I think you should have done it a while ago, but whatever. It's cool. It's here now, and I think everybody's going to enjoy this one a lot. So let's have a look.
TopoDOT version 2026.1 introduces powerful new tools that redefine how building outlines are created. Faster, smarter, and more flexible than ever. Let's start with building footprints. By combining point cloud data with imagery, you gain the visual context needed to confidently trace accurate outlines, even in complex environments. And if you ever need those outlines projected to ground level, it can all be done in the same step, saving time and eliminating extra processing. With the new building outline extraction tool, generating precise footprints is now a simple, intuitive workflow. Now, let's take it a step further. When aerial or dense point cloud data is available, the Outline Selected Point Cluster tool allows you to extract rooftop outlines instantly with just a single click. Even complex geometries with sharp corners are handled effortlessly, making it easy to move across your project and generate consistent results at speed. And it doesn't stop at buildings. With the Extract Voids option, you can quickly generate outlines for features like water lines or other open areas, expanding your workflow beyond traditional building extraction. Fast, precise, and incredibly versatile, TopoDOT version 2026.1 takes building outline extraction to the next level.
Extracting building outlines and water lines has always been a tedious, labor-intensive process of manually tracing these features through a point cloud, and it's a massive drain on project time. With this release, we focused on bringing major efficiency gains to these workflows. As you just saw in the video, if you are working with mobile LiDAR data, our new building outline extraction tool turns that manual tracing process into a simple, single-click operation within the data or imagery. The tool automatically extracts the outline and drapes it directly to the ground elevation if needed. We also built a dedicated solution for those of you working primarily with aerial data. You can utilize the new Outline Selected Point Cluster tool to achieve the same level of efficiency. Once you have your target buildings isolated in the point cloud, a single click automatically outlines the entire structure. You get a clean, highly accurate microstation deliverable in seconds. And as the video highlighted, there's plenty of flexibility here to apply this automated workflow for other complex applications, such as quickly extracting water lines without the usual headaches of manual tracing.
Okay, well, back at the introduction, we talked about telling you a little bit about what's over the horizon, and we're really excited about this because it ties into a lot of things. I think some of you may have noticed that our new name is TopoDOT Solutions. It's more than just a name. It reflects our years of commitment to not just individual tools and feature extraction, but the entire production process. So our TopoShare data governance process places survey operations at the center of a collaborative ecosystem built around survey data and services. So while TopoShare has been extremely effective, we are told by several survey managers that it was still time-consuming, several hours often, to determine the current production status of a particular project. And that's because it involved checking in with several remote team members on their progress, compiling the results, and estimating their schedule. It was just rather tedious, and it took a lot of time and a lot of a manager's time. And if you have several projects, you can imagine the cost and the dysfunction that causes, So I'd like to take this opportunity to share a sneak preview of what is on the not too distant horizon. Are we going to say 2026.2 or?
We're shooting for 2026.2, but it's depending on how things go, it could be 2027.1.
Okay, and then basically what Mouty's saying is like how many different directions Ted throws at me, and what we're going to do. Exactly. See, that's what it is. Mouty's always nice to me, but that's what he's really meant. So I'd like to take this opportunity to share a sneak preview of what is on the not too distant horizon, TopoTask. Soon, TopoShare users will be able to employ TopoTask to instantly monitor the production status of an unlimited number of ongoing extraction projects. You'll be able to see what each team member has accomplished and what needs to be done. You'll be able to compare the production rates of individual team members to assess performance and identify the need for additional training. And of course, we'll be there for you for that. So, as we talked about before, we're all about the entire product process. We're all focused on the production levels and making the TopoDOT community successful.
While this tool is not in the current release, we couldn't resist giving you an exclusive preview of what to expect later this year. TopoTask is a comprehensive task management system built directly on top of our existing project management platform, TopoShare. Right now, tracking who is extracting what on a massive corridor project usually involves clunky spreadsheets, separate emails, and a lot of manual check-ins. It's inefficient and leaves room for miscommunication. TopoTask changes that entirely by giving you complete centralized control over how you monitor, assign, and manage the entire extraction process. You can track the project completion status through a traditional Gantt chart or our intuitive map interface. You have the total flexibility to create custom tasks, associate them with specific data tiles, and assign them directly to your team members. This means that you can break down a massive, overwhelming point cloud project into manageable chunks, assigning specific corridor miles or intersections directly to individual users. The biggest advantage is that the TopoTask will be directly integrated within TopoDOT. When your user logs in to their accounts, they will instantly see exactly which tasks and specific data they need to work on, and they can update their progress in real time. This means no more guessing who is working on what section of the road and no more duplicated effort.
Well, this has been a great release. Fine job, Mouty, as always. I think it's really exciting, and we're heading some great directions. So I hope everybody enjoyed what they saw. It's only a small subset of all the new features and enhancements available with TopoDOT 2026.1. So how do they find the rest of the? We can't sit here for an hour. So like, how do they find the rest of the enhancements and all the changes?
When you download the setup, you'll see the changelog directly in the setup process, or you can visit our wiki to get the complete changelog there as well.
Yep. And for further news, you know that the TopoDOT Users Conference is celebrating its 10th anniversary at TUC 26. Registration closes soon. I know a lot of you guys wait till the last minute, but I tell you what, it is filling up fast. And so you really want to learn a lot. You want to, kind of get to know your TopoDOT worldwide community. Have a great week of learning and fun. We do have a good time. Please, look into it. Look on the website. You'll find TUC 26. Registration closes soon, so visit tuc.topodot.com to secure your spot. This is a year you just won't want to miss. It's going to be extra special as our 10th anniversary, and to be honest, every TUC is just getting better than the last. So, and again, for those who have never been to a TUC, this is a completely hands-on process. Everybody gets a laptop in the technical course and curriculum. Everybody gets a laptop. You're working on, with real data, real projects, and you learn how to apply the tools. So you'll come out just so much more productive. It'll be worth every penny of your investment and much more. Next, I think they're going to answer some questions. We know some of you might have some questions out there. So who's out there? From our training and support operations team and dev team are going to be there. And so be sure to ask and to use the Q&A tab or the chat to submit your questions. So Maudie, anything else to add?
No, that's it.
No? Okay. Well, if that's all for Maudie and myself, we want to thank you for attending this release webinar. And we're going to see you in May for TUC 26.
Hi guys, I'm Andra. I'm the director of the Training and Support Operations Department.
And I'm John Paul, one of the product developers. And we're going to be here to answer your questions.
Okay, so let's start with the first question from John. John is asking, does the point cloud need to be classified before running the building outline tool? Well, technically, the data needs to be cropped. Now, whatever method you are using, it's up to you. You can use like a combination between different cropping tools, such as cross sections or classification routines. And then, the tool is just going to do its job.
All right. For the next question, this is from Richard. Will TopoTask be included in the standard TopoDOT license, or is it a separate add-on? Once released, TopoTask will be a separate product and will not be included within the TopoDOT license. Exact pricing and package details are still pending, but it will live inside of the TopoDOT, the TopoShare Administrator tool, as well as the TopoShare Access tool in TopoDOT.
Okay, let's take the next one. So Allison is asking, can the 3D mesh assessment tool be used on 3D shapes other than DTMs? Okay, now let me think. You can use different type of meshes. You're not limited, let's say. So for example, let me think on a different example, compare with the ground. So if you want to compare, for instance, like a bridge beam, against the point cloud, you can do that. So you're not limited for, say, like to the ground DTM, if that's what you mean by, other shapes. So yeah, I hope that example with the beam makes sense.
All right, I'll go for the next question. This is from Callie. In the building outline tool, does the drape to ground require a pre-existing DTM, or does it find the elevation automatically? The building outline tool will drape to the point cloud data directly, not a pre-existing DTM, but we are looking into adding that functionality or adding just an option to drape to existing meshes for all tools. If you have feedback like that, feel free to reach out. We have a form on our website that you can fill in or just submit a support ticket.
Let's see. Okay, we have a question from Ryan. In the DTM preview, can you click the arrow icons to zoom directly to the overlapping line work? Okay, interesting. Now you can see them and you can, zoom in and see what the error is about. But for now, they are not clickable. Now, interesting thing, we are going to look into it. And the same thing that, my colleague mentioned before, you are free to submit it yourself as a feedback item. We actually encourage, the customers to do that. But it's an interesting thing. No, they are not clickable yet, but definitely we're going to look into it. Thank you, Ryan.
Alrighty. Let's see. Will, does the outline selected point cluster tool works on features other than buildings like large concrete paths or storage tanks? And yes, as you saw in the video, the tool has a voids option. So you can use it to outline ponds, lakes, etc. Anything that has a hole or an outline, you can use the tool to plot a CAD element.
Let's see. Next question. Jack, with the quick adjust tool, can you merge elements that are on different microstation levels? Nope, you can't do that. They need to be in pairs. And quick thing, I'm not even sure why would you like to do that? Now, it will be actually very interested to continue the conversation. Why do you think that will be useful? Because you always need to be careful, which one, you're going to pick first, because that's going to, where's the pair to inherit, all the properties of the first one. So yeah, interesting. No, it requires for the elements to be on the same level, but yeah, I'm actually curious, why would you need that, Jack?
British asks, for the building outline extraction tool, you mentioned being able to extract water lines. Could you possibly use it for tree lines, even though that area wouldn't be voided like water? You can use the tool to draw any outlines of any isolated data, including tree lines. However, you would have to click on the isolated sections of tree data. If you have a bigger scale project where you're looking to do vegetation canopy kind of measurements, then we have another tool called the outline point cluster tool, which will basically just generate a shape for all the cluster data.
Okay, still waiting for your questions. There is still plenty of time. So, submit your question, guys, into the chat so we can easily address them. Still waiting for a couple of more questions from you. Okay, we just got one from Terry. There we go. How long do we have until the breakline extraction legacy tool is removed? That's a very, popular question. I know that we all, love the old breakline extraction tool, but yeah, we need to let it go at some point. So yeah, officially it's going to be removed in 2027.1. So you still have, plenty of time to say your goodbyes. In 2026.2, I know that there is going to be a pop-up warning you that sad event is coming. But yeah, it's kind of necessary. So say your goodbyes, guys. Okay.
All right, we got another question. Kevin, is it possible to install multiple versions of TopoDOT because some of the drop compatibility with older versions of OpenRoads or Connect? We're not aware of any drop compatibility issues with the newer versions, but if you're having a particular issue where you're missing your installations, feel free to reach out. Also, sometimes when you install TopoDOT, it'll be for a specific Connect product. So it could be like MicroStation or OpenRoads. We have run into issues where people's TopoDOT installation will disappear from the little drop down. You can always either reinstall it or go to the other products that do have TopoDOT install and copy a configuration file, but we're more than happy to help you through that process.
And another question from Terry. Will you be providing more resources such as demos or wiki explanations for the new tools and updates? Now, the wiki has been already updated, so everything that was announced today lives already in wiki. So every single new tool is going to have, their own pages. There are going to be some quick showcase videos over there, and like how wiki works. And as well for all the enhancements, every single tool has been updated, so the pages are going to be updated for you guys to be aware of everything that it's new. So this is actually a routine that we're doing every single time. So yeah, enjoy the content over there, guys.
Let's see, we got Jason. That's funny. I said that as in the JSON format. Yeah, Jason's asking, can we set a toggle to make the building extract tool to normalize to right or standard angles? Yes, the tool has a straightening tolerance value that you can set. So it will kind of strain up that line depending on a specific threshold. But if you are using that tolerance value and you feel like it's not accomplishing what you need, feel free to reach out and we can troubleshoot the issue with you and possibly add an enhancement to it if required.
There you go. A question from Nick. Can you extract multiple water lines at once? Yes, actually, if I'm not, I should not be wrong. Into the showcase video, using that voids method, we got two. I mean, the only two that were visible within the data that we used. So yeah, the short answer is yes, you can do multiple in the same time. So yeah, your imagination basically is the limit over there.
Kylie, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, asks, the DOT we work with the most often has curb and gutter top, back, and lip all on the same level but different colors. Would the tool still work? We have a tool called the Symbology Manager where you can kind of create definitions and assign specific line styles, level, and things like that for specific features. So you can imagine as creating like a little group called curb top, and you assign the level, you assign the line style, you assign the color, and then you would do the same thing for the gutter top and the back. And then that way, once you're extracting, you would use the symbology instead of the level, and then it would draw it on the correct spot. So yes, it would just require a little bit of setting up that in the front, which we can help with. So just feel free to reach out if you have more questions on that.
Let's see, still time for questions, so don't forget to submit them. Let's see, Raul asks, do you have edge detection on any brake line extraction tools? For instance, top face of curb or where two planes meet. And like as a clarification, it says drape to edge. Let me see, I'm not sure, like edge detection for any brake line extraction tools.
Yeah. I don't think we do, but
Interesting question.
yeah, not a bad idea. So if I understand that correctly,
Yeah,
maybe
me too,
if I'm thinking about a curb, like when the two planes meet like this, being able to extract a line through that. Not that I'm aware of, but the brake line extraction tool does have the ability of setting up templates, and you can put your brake points in, and you can use like the anchor points to line up those planes. So that would probably be the best way. But again, feel free to reach out, show us the application that you're looking to extract, and we're happy to give either an alternative workflow or maybe look into developing something like that if it's
And one thing that might be useful here, that when defining templates, like if you have like a specific standard, so like different, I don't know, like dimensions, like if you have like, I don't know, for sure what's the difference between the flow line and the top or the top and the back, you can easily create your template in a way that, let's say, intersectional planes is always going to be constant. So we do have an option in the brake line extraction tool that can, define those relative, distances between the points. That might be useful too. But yeah, definitely like we are more than happy to gather more information from you, Raul, and to, as my colleague said, even I don't know, implement something that we don't have already, or give you like an alternative and best practices, of course.
Terry asks, for the asset identification tool, I noticed this is not very accurate, especially for paint lines or other flat features. Is there a way to manipulate the tool to ensure you're snapping the cell to correct elevation? First, I would recommend, if you're referring to paint lines like as like turn arrows or like the only striping,
I think so.
or like pedestrian striping, there is a tool specifically for that, which is called the pavement symbol extraction tool, which is specifically made for that scenario. However, if you are using the asset identification tools for flat assets like manhole covers or things that don't have a specific elevation, I would say that look into the settings that calculate the ground. So either like if you go into the simple options, look at the ground radius, make sure that it's not too big. If you're in like a slope or something like that, you might be pulling elevations from a very large sample, which could be skewing where that cell gets ultimately placed. But yeah, definitely feel free to reach out to support. You might not be using the correct tool for the application that you're using, so look into that.
Yeah, I think so too. It's not ideal to use the asset identification tool for, turn arrows and such. And plus, it's a pretty like similar workflow. You can define your own templates. You can, make sure that, the entire team is using the same standards, etc. It's easy to create. You just need to do it once and you have the template forever. So not, a hard thing. Nick, is there any plan to update the asset identification tool? Okay, so the asset ID apparently is very popular in the future to make it more efficient and miss less assets. Okay, now first things first, the tool itself, as we know, it's a pretty complex tool. So we need to be careful what settings we are using. We need to make sure that they are going to adapt to the data set that you are using. We know that the density is like a very important key factor. So first things first, I will say, let's meet and see exactly like what are you using, what settings, how the data looks like, and we're going to be more than happy to advise first. But we do work on AI detection routine. It's going to use our, the DeepX technology. I can't tell you more. I don't want, spoilers and such. But yeah, there are, new cool things coming where the AI detection is going to come in place. But like to this particular, specific case, because again, missing, I'm not sure if it's the tool's fault or if it's something, not according with the data that you are using. So I would say let's, meet and take a quick look to the data and the settings that you are using, and maybe we can, improve the results already without you, be forced to wait for the next update, right?
And to add on to that, if you're not familiar with what our DPEC technology is we're taking the calibrated images exported from your LiDAR sensors, could be mobile or static, and we're embedding the point cloud data in it. So it's definitely going to be a really nice tool, and I'm sure we'll be showing you some teasers here and there in the short future.
There we go. Another question. Oh, there you go. Alex, for the building outline tool, is there a sensitivity setting for ignoring noise around the outside of the building, like gutters? Now, as we mentioned before, you need to isolate the data that you're planning to use. Now, what you're using for that, it's up to you. For instance, the solution here might be the random noise filter. So you can actually remove that noise around that you just mentioned. But we do have some settings over there that you can control, like the voxel size, where it's going to look and how it's going to analyze the data. But yeah, ignoring noise, definitely there are like a bunch of cleaning routines that you can apply before running the building outline tool.
Ben asks, when will the tool videos on YouTube be made public? They're currently private. Thanks. The videos are going to be public after this webinar. And then you can also, I'm pretty sure you can look at some of the documentation and videos on the tools on the wiki as well.
Alex, I will be curious to see like if it's the same Alex. It's just like a personal curiosity. When using TopoDOT with an aerial point cloud, I find it difficult to visualize the extract break lines in drainage fields with swells that curve, weave, and intersect. Is TopoDOT exploring visualization tools to help users identify grade breaks from a plan top view?
Good question.
Okay, it is a good question. That's why I was asking, like, it is the same Alex? Interesting. Let me think here. So, difficult to visualize. Now, without seeing the exact data in the case, it's not, I would say it's not easy and not hard in the same time to answer. One thing that I can recommend into the dynamic DTM preview, there are like different thematic, display modes that you can, change. So not keeping it just to, I don't know, smooth or, wireframe. There are like a bunch of options over there. That might help.
Yeah, there's the screen depth displayed mode as well, which will it will colorize the point cloud based on how close the points are to you. Guess it's kind of like whatever is closer to your screen, it will be a color, and then whatever is deeper in will be a different color. So if you have like different changes in elevation, you will see the contrast there.
Yeah.
The same thing with like color contours. So definitely reach out, because we might have to take a look at the data to tell you which of the options that we're suggesting is the best route to go.
But it will be cool, like, to actually see, the case that Alex mentioned, so we can, like, go in details over there.
And then Jays has asked, is there any plans to allow the asset identification tool to recognize classified data to enhance the auto detection? This is a good question. It also ties back to the previous answer that we gave. So our DPEC technology lets you embed classification channels, and we're going to be leveraging that for the asset detection as well. So those are things that we are working on and are coming. And it looks like we have another more question. How much time do we got? Very little. Okay.
Okay. Well, submit your questions, guys.
Yeah. You can get this one.
Let's see. Liz, in the new release, it is considered a possibility to have it installed in 2 versions of MicroStation in the same computer, like ORD 2024 and 10.12. Interesting.
Yeah, because it will share the same TopoDOT folder. So some of the
Yeah. That's
okay,
a Davis question.
Let me read that again. Is it considered a possibility to have it installed in 2 versions of MicroStation in the same computer? Okay. Yes. So you can, but it will depend on the minimum SDK requirements. Contact support, because I was thinking about different TopoDOT versions, but if it's the same TopoDOT, different versions of ORD, you can have that. It just depends on the compatibility between the ORD and TopoDOT product. You just want to make sure that it's both compatible, since there have been some minimum SDK requirements. So just contact support. Yeah. We also have a table on our wiki that lists the compatibility between MicroStation products and TopoDOT products, and kind of lists out what's the minimum version that you need for both sides.
Now, we still have like a little bit of time, so I would say, like, I don't know, a minute or 2.
For those that don't know, TUC registration is open. highly recommend signing up for that. You can go to talk.topodot.com and register there. Make sure to check the agenda out and all the fun activities that we're going to be doing.
And it's just in like less than a month.
Yes, we're also excited for it.
Yeah, we have limited spots, so I will not say hurry up, but kind of. They're filling up pretty fast. Yeah, I cannot wait for Talk this year. It's our 10th anniversary, guys. It's a pretty big deal for us as a team.
I use, Terry asks, thank you. I use the extraction by intensity for driving lines, but what I need, the asset identification tool is ready to place cells at the center of the targets on a wall and ceiling. Unless I can suggest a better tool I can use for this task. Sorry about laughing. Another question came in, so
I'll read that one.
we'll get to that.
And I have an answer too.
So I'll read the question again since that interrupted me.
Sorry.
I use the extraction by intensity for driving lanes, but what I need is the asset identification tool for place cells at the center of targets on a wall and ceiling. Based on that, maybe the control pointed data analysis tool could be a tool that you might want to use. Again, it will probably be best if we meet about it and we do just an assessment on the application that you're looking to do. But the control pointed data analysis tool will let you basically place a cell, and then because it's on a wall, it will measure to it as well. So it depends on exactly what that target looks like. And then the same thing for the ceiling. Kind of curious on what that would look like. So definitely reach out and then we'll set up a meeting.
Yeah.
And then take a look at that. And then Christian Stewart says, how did JP break his fingers? I'll let him answer, but it's not broken. It's a sprain, but I have to have it taped.
But the question was like, how?
Yeah, so I climb, for those that don't know, we went climbing for her first time, and then I was holding on a very small plastic hold, and then my finger popped. And then, yeah.
And he blames me, but it was not my fault.
Yeah.
I
just call it bad luck.
Me, Andrea, bad luck. Thank you. Okay.
And then we got last question. Adam, will TopoTask allow a Gantt chart style for project completion? It looked like in the video. Yes. So as an administrator, you'll have a Gantt view of all of your projects that you have current, and you will be able to have full control of the tasks that are added. You get full control of start date, due dates, priority. We'll also be providing templates so that you can kind of have like predefined set of tasks for a specific project, so you don't have to create one for every time. And we're also planning to adding a check-in, check-out system for tiles so that you know who's working on a specific tile, what's their status, and then also avoiding duplicating work and things like that. We have tons of plans, notification system, comment systems, attachments, all of that stuff. And yeah, definitely look forward to it.
Okay, John Paul, I think that was pretty much it with the questions. So it's time for us to say goodbye. And I will say, see you at Talk. Contact us for more info about Talk, about the new tools that just, were released today. And don't forget, update and try it out, right? The TopoDOT 2026.1, it's available for you guys. The webinar video is going to be available in just a couple of hours, and we are open for questions if you want to learn more.
You can download it through TopoDOT by going into the settings tab, checking to see if there's a new version, or you can go to our website, go to the resources drop down, go to downloads, and then get the stable link there.
That was it. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today, and have an awesome rest of the day, guys. Bye.
Bye.